I grew up in London. I graduated as a chemical engineer, and my first job was with Shell International Chemical Company here in London. I successfully managed to transition from engineering to marketing, which was my main aim in my first job, and had a very enjoyable 5 years at Shell International before I started to get restless and think about doing something different. I was attracted to come to LBS by the offer of a transformational career change. And I came here in 1976. 2 years later, I started out here as a Brit, single, working for Shell International. And 2 years later, I left married, heading to New York to work for Booz Allen, an international consulting firm. I think that's transformational change. I've been very fortunate in my career. There are 4 institutions that have really shaped it. First was Shell International, where I started out. The second was London Business School, that really changed the direction of my career. And then I spent 9 years at Booz Allen in New York, and then was fortunate enough to be hired by Jack Welch at GE when I worked for GE for 13 years. There are lots of stories about what a tough guy he is, but I found him to be a really, really inspirational leader. The reason I went to work for GE was the opportunity to work for him. I learned an awful lot in the 2 years that I worked for him directly. I learned an awful lot over the 13 years that I was at GE, and he's one of the most unusual leaders, and there are very few like it in my experience, that not only have vision and understand strategy, but have a huge command for the details of a very, very complex, far-reaching worldwide corporation. And he was always inspiring in terms of his ability to be setting direction in 1 minute, and then turning to someone and saying, "You promised you got your inventory turns up by 2 points in the last quarter, and I don't see it's happened." Right now I'm retired. I retired in 2000. I'm on the board of Old Mutual PLC, on the board of a specialty chemical company in the States, and on a mutual fund board in the US. And I'm also a governor of London Business School, which has been a particularly rewarding relationship. Being an alum of London Business School is like being a member of a family. Part of the reason I chose London Business School over other business schools was because of its size. I really liked the fact that when I came here, the MBA class was only 100 students. So it's certainly grown a lot since then, but the school's always had that sense of familiarity, of being part of a family, and it's been very rewarding for me to get reassociated with the school in the last 10 years and interact with faculty who are the leaders in their fields, are also now good friends, and to be around the school at the time when it's achieved so much. When I came to the school was only 10 years old. Now, at nearly 50 years old, which is still very young for a business school, it's one of the most successful schools in the world.